Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today is a very exciting video. I have told myself I wouldn't do it another year in a row because it doesn't perform that well, but the opportunity presented itself and we're doing it. Before we get started, please remember to subscribe as well as give this video a thumbs up if you like it. But let's jump straight in with a Valentine's makeup look. This year, I've decided not to go like so heavily themed on pink and red and purples and the typical colors. I'm gonna do something a little bit more smoky, a little bit more sultry, perfect for date night. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. A lot of the products I'll be using today are either part of my shop, my stash, or something I just included in from my makeup drawer just to add a little bit of variety. But I'm going to go in first obviously with primer, and this is the MUA Pro Base Jelly Primer, which is part of my shop, my stash. If you haven't watched that video, I'll link it up in the cards and you can go ahead and watch that if you want to see it. But primer first. We're going to do the whole face, I think, except obviously brows, which I've already done. But I'm just going to apply a little bit of this. Again, I know I've been talking about this non-stop. It is so hot, and I feel like because I have so much tech in here as well, like TV, monitor, laptop, and a whole bunch of stuff, I also just blow dried and straightened my hair. It is so hot that I'm actually melting again, and I know I keep mentioning that, but it's honestly not very productive when I'm doing my makeup because it does tend to break apart and melt after a couple of hours. I'm just going to do a little bit of lip prep, so I'm going to use the Catrice Melt and Shine Juicy Lip Balm. I have mine in the scent or color Secret, and it doesn't really do much. It is just a balm. But I just want to prep my lips because we will be using a matte lipstick. And it also just gives the primer a second to dry down. While we wait for the primer just to settle in a little bit, we're going to use my Shop My Stash foundation as well. And this is the New Drop Tinted Serum by Catrice. It has hyaluronic acid and vitamin E in it. I've been trying just this one, which is N60 by itself, but it is slightly too dark for me and it just darkens everything and it doesn't look very good. So I do have the shade N40. I don't know in what world I thought N40 would match, but they didn't have anything in between this when I went to have a look. So I have N40 that I'll just mix in. They're both also neutral. So I'm just going to take a couple of drops of the darker shade, and then I'll go ahead and add in a drop and a half maybe of the lighter shade. I hate doing this. I really do. But to get the best use out of this, I have to unfortunately mix. I'm just going to use the back of a brush. It's like a pretty good shade for me, maybe slightly light. It's more of like a serum product, so it does sheer out quite a bit. I have a lot on my hand, so just going to use my sponge for this. For cream bronzer, I'm again going to use my Shop My Stash one, which is the Baby Got Bronze Liquid Bronzer by Essence, and I don't want too much of this, so I'm just going to pop a couple of drops on each side of my face, a little bit on my forehead, down the side of my nose, a bit on the tip, and I'm actually just going to use the sponge again just to blend that out. For cream brush, I'm using the Mayo double-ended blush stick, and it is a nice little a nice little rosy mauvey tone. And I'm just going to grab a brush, load it up, and pop that on the cheek. So pigmented. Moving into concealer, I'm going to use this She Glam. I don't know if it's focusing, but this is the She Glam Bright Eyes Cooling. Bright Eyes Cooling. I only realized how weird that sounded. Concealer, and I got mine in the shade Golden. So I am going to pop some on the back of my hand, my preferred method of using this, and I'm going to use the tip of my sponge to get it nice and saturated, and I'm going to pop that all over the eye. I'm going to use it as a eyeshadow primer as well. I think I took way too much there, but look at that. Lovely coverage, perfect texture. Just blending that into the blush as well, and as you can see, it kind of just tames that down a little bit. Moving into setting the face, I'm going to use the Hit Vitamin Fix Blurring Powder, and that I'm going to actually bake with today. I don't often bake, but because we've left the eyes until now, I need to bake in order to not have a bunch of fallout, and we can just wipe that off at the end. So I'm going to pop some in the lid. I've never baked with this before, just so you know. So I'm not entirely sure how this will turn out, but we'll have to wait and see because this is a very, very finely milled powder, as you can see over there. So I'm going to pop a hefty amount under my eye like that. So it's going to be white for a while. Powder does have a tendency to stick to my contact lenses as well. So if you are the same as me and have contact lenses, I'd suggest just being careful with this. I'm also just, I choked on it. I'm also just going to set the rest of my face with this puff as well. Now that that's done, I know I look crazy, but trust me, it does help. I'm going to go ahead and start with the eyes before we apply our bronzer and blush. For the eyes, I'm actually going to use this Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam 2 palette. It is just a mini and it looks like that. So really, really perfect for what I want. So I think I'm going to put this through the crease, create some sort of wing with the black and blend it out with that, and then maybe a shimmer. I'm not entirely sure. Let's go ahead and speed through that because I know you guys don't like watching every single step of my eyeshadow. So let's speed through that. Guys, for some reason, my camera stopped recording and it didn't even give me a warning. So I just used the shade over here and it's called, I almost said Incense, and I just got that through the crease. I also didn't set my concealer there. So I just popped that through the crease over there. Then I grabbed an angled brush with the black and I just kind of mapped out a little bit of a wing. Then taking a pencil brush, I dipped into the black only slightly just so we can blend this out. So I'm just going to keep blending here. So much for speeding through this, but next I'm just going to grab a really small brush, like a detailing brush, and I'm going to grab that maroon color. For this, I'm just going to grab my powder puff, place it under here, and I'm just going to further blend the black out and into the V of my eye over there. Just grabbing my angled brush again, I'm just going to slightly define the black a little bit more because I still want it to show through. I just have like a wash rag over here that I'm just going to clean this up with. Again, just grabbing the black because I kind of lost some of that intensity. I'm going to just define that slightly, more so on one eye than the other. So I'd suggest just going back and forth between the black and the maroon until you're happy with the intensity. I want a little bit more here. And then again, with our super fluffy brush, I'm just going to diffuse the edges. So that's kind of what we're left with. And then I think I will do a shimmer, maybe two even. So I'm going to use this shade over here, which is called Sultry. How fitting. And then in the inner corner, I think I'll just use the shade Dreamer. I know it's upside down, but because of the mirror. So I'm going to go in with Sultry first, which is more of like a bronzy tone, just to add to our little sultry effect. I'm going to pop that on the inner part of my lid, blending it into the maroon matte, slightly taking it higher because of my hooded eyes. Again, grabbing my super fluffy brush, I'm just going to diffuse the edges a little bit just to make it look a little bit more seamless. Lastly, we'll grab this shade Dreamer and just pop that on the inner corner just to brighten and open the eye a little bit more. And there we go. So I'm just going to brush off my base. That eyeshadow already has a very little fallout, so I think that looks really good considering we did our base makeup first. But let's go ahead and do some bronzer. I'm going to use this Playboy Sun-Kissed bronzer. I got mine in the shade Butterscotch. Just grabbing a small brush. Just going to pop that on the hollows, just above the hollows of my cheek. I mean, there's not much hollow, but you know what I mean. This powder does give me a little bit of a white cast, so sorry if it looks slightly off. It usually settles after a couple of hours when my natural oils come through. For blush, I'm going to use this one from Glam again. I know I'm using most of the products from there, aren't I? But I really love this tone and I think it will match the eyes really nicely. This is the Ember Rose collection and it is in the shade I'm Yours. So it has a nice little rosy tone. Oh shit. I think it's actually a cream blush. I forgot. I'm just going to pop it on anyway. And I'm just stippling it so it doesn't disrupt anything underneath. That actually looks really nice. I didn't think it would actually work. I forgot that it was a cream blush. So I've just used 2 cream blushes. But that worked. I'm also just going to pop on some highlighter, which I don't normally do. But I really do like the way it looks on camera. So I've started doing it again. So I'm just going to use this one in the Baby Bloom palette. And it's just the one over here that says highlight, obviously. It is very powdery, so also be careful with this. And I just dust it on the tops of my cheeks here, in the middle of my nose over here, and then just a little touch on the tip, as well as on my brow bone. I like the way that's looking. Next, I'm going to actually spray my face with some setting spray. This is just the Get It by the brand called Dazzle Me, and it's Get A Grip makeup setting spray. I'm just going to give that a couple seconds to dry down, then we'll move on with finishing this look out. To finish off the eyes, I'm going to use, this is currently my favorite. Literally, I use it almost every single day, and this is the, not this focus is making me angry, but this is the Maybelline Surreal Falsies mascara, and honestly I'm loving it at the moment. I have noticed that it's starting to flake a bit on me, but I was really tired last night and it started to slowly flake off my eyes, but nothing too bad. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to sweep all my lashes outwards just to give my eye a more elongated look, so you can see the difference over there and over there. I just wiped away the rest of the lip balm that was left on my lips, so I'm going to line it with my trusty dusty, what is this called? It's the MUA Makeup Academy Intense Color Liner, and I have mine in the shade Diva. This I've had for almost like going on 3 years, I want to say, and look how long it still is, and honestly it's amazing. It's like the perfect tone that I like to do, that I like for a red lip. I like a darker, deeper liner with a lighter center. So I'm just going to align my lips and stop talking. So this is currently one of my favorite lip combos if I do a red lip. I mean, favorite for like the last 2 weeks. This is the Glam, can't remember what it's called. It's just Glam lipstick in the shade Main Character, and it is a red. I really love this packaging. It's gorgeous. But I'm just going to fill my lips with this. And there we go. We are ready for date night. Let me know what you guys think of this look. Please also comment down below with what your plans are for Valentine's Day, whether you have a partner or not. Let me know what you guys are doing. I'm unfortunately not with my partner this year, so I'll probably be in my room having a glass of wine and eating some sugar-free chocolate. That is it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. It is slightly different from my other Valentine's videos because I wanted to do something a little bit more wearable. I mean, pink on the eyes is fine, but I'm not wearing pink or purple every single day. And like I said, this is more like a date night sultry look. That is it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, please subscribe and also like this video if you did, and I will see you all next week. Bye, guys.